What's going on, everyone? I've got a great interview for you tonight. It is with Kyle Ward, current U Ottawa GG. And yeah, if you enjoy this video, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like it. Also, comment down below if you want to see a particular athlete who I might be able to get in touch with and do another one of these with. But yeah, without further ado, enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is the heart and soul of his home province, New Brunswick, a winner wherever he goes, playoff performer. If he drops the gloves, Vegas says he's winning. Without further ado, Kyle Ward. How you doing, bud?
Hey, what's going on, girls? How you doing?
Good, man. Just like I said, back home in New Brunswick, I'm in Newfoundland. You're not in New Brunswick. You're in Ottawa.
Yeah, no, I'm in Ottawa for the summer. Kind of just easier, I guess. A lot more kind of things to do and keep busy. Yeah, me and Matthew Newcomb are actually starting a landscaping business up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get into that then a little bit later on. But first, I want to just start off with growing up in New Brunswick. Just kind of playing in the Maritimes and the memories there.
Yeah, I mean, it was great playing in the Maritime, especially being so close to home, being a family guy that I am. Like, I had my family come to pretty much all my games through Major Junior. When I played in St. John, every game in the Maritimes, except for, Cape Breton maybe. But my family kind of came to every other game, whether home or away in the Maritimes. And it was nice. And the same thing in Midget, only lived, 45 minutes away from the rink. So family got to watch me quite a bit, and it was nice.
You guys won a lot too, eh? A lot of tournaments, a lot of trophies.
Yeah.
Take me through some of those.
Yeah, I guess just like in midget, my 3 years in midget, we were, it's through the Moncton Flyers program. It's kind of a, like national program that recognized all through the country, always kind of producing good teams. And same thing for my 3 years there, we were top of the league every year. I think we went to Atlantics twice out of 3 years. Could never kind of get to the TELUS Cup. We just got to Atlantics and couldn't put the final nail in the coffin and make our way to TELUS Cup, which is unfortunate. But it was good. Still a lot of success, a lot of fun. Learned a lot while I was there.
Yeah, played alongside some teammates still to this day. Like Mike Poirier was there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I played with Mikey now for a few years and had the, fortunate enough to live with him this year as well, and it was good. It's good to live with Mikey. Mikey's a great guy.
Any competitive advantage playing with a guy that long?
Yeah, I mean, like kind of same thing. A couple of guys that I played with a few years there. It's always nice to kind of have those guys kind of brings, I feel like, especially to start when I first kind of came, it was nice to have these guys here to, help me ease into, becoming a GG and getting used to university, not only hockey, but as well as the school and stuff outside of what really goes on outside of sports here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, your junior hockey career kind of started in Dieppe there. What were those first few games like?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was when I was I actually kind of went to their camp every year since I was underage at 15. I'd just go to their training camp. Didn't have any intention. Wasn't going to play. Didn't want to play. Just kind of going to get the extra ice and just see what the older guys are like. It was always good. Had the opportunity to stay at 17 and stuff. Decided not to. Came back to midget, which was a good decision. But I ended up kind of going back up there throughout the year, playing a few games, and then when my season was over in midget, I went on with the playoff run with them, and we went to the Fred Page Cup, which is actually in Cornwall, Ontario. So, not too far here from Ottawa. So it was good kind of being a big stage. Played with a couple of guys that are actually in the GGs now. So it was nice.
Yeah. What was it? Winning that Kent Cup for the first time as like, because you'd later go on and win it as like a captain and a big like kind of role. But with there, it was a little bit of a smaller role your first time around. What was that like, and how'd you manage that?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of playing a lesser role, but it was good. That kind of gave my first taste of real, junior hockey and what real. I kind of thought, with a lot of fans and stuff in the rinks and crazy fans, you don't really get that as much in midget. I can remember playing in Dieppe when I was 17 and being in a penalty box, and people just throwing drinks and stuff at you in the box. And I loved that. I reveled in that. It was kind of my favorite thing. That was my intro to playoff hockey and competitive hockey and whatnot, and kind of just took me from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean that's it's definitely something I've noticed about you from watching you play. You love the rowdiness, and if fans think they're gonna throw you off your game by kind of chirping you or
doing anything to you, whether it be yelling or screaming in your face, like they definitely don't know you, because that's honestly, you're probably just gonna get fired up and put a couple pucks in the net, in my opinion. Yeah, no, we'll go into the Sea Dogs days now, because I mean that's a pretty you know prominent franchise in that Q League, and I mean you spent a couple seasons there, so yeah, just take me through your time there.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Kind of that's where I got drafted and whatnot. So it's kind of I was happy to be able to stay there and play. The 2 full seasons and whatnot. But yeah, it was good going there. At 16, went there, didn't make the team. Went back at 17, I guess. Yeah, I made the team. Was lucky enough to have a great built family right off the start. Stuck with them for 2 years. I mean, yeah, like you said, we had some pretty great teams. My first year, we were good. Lost in the conference finals to a tough Shawinigan team. Guys like Beauvillier plays the Islanders and stuff like that. They were a good team. So, that was good, though. We came back for our second year, ready, willing to play. We had a very good team then, made some big acquisitions, a lot of NHL draft picks on the team, a lot of guys who were skilled, and, it helped us. We kind of breezed right through the season. I think we went 16-2 or something in playoffs. So it was kind of a good team. Went to Memorial Cup, didn't get the results we wanted, but it was a great experience going there. Got to play against some world-class talent guys who were 100-point guys in NHL now, which is pretty cool experience to have and kind of always think back on.
Yeah, that Mem Cup team, the winners there. I mean, you guys lost in the semis to Erie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Erie team, I was talking to Chiodo about it a couple weeks ago, because he played them obviously in the regular season, and he was just like, when he was on the ice for those games against like guys like DeBrincat and Strome, he was line matched with them, and he was just like, yeah, I mean, he's like, I think I finished the night -4.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Erie was a great team. Like, they were, in my opinion, the best team there. I thought they probably should have won it. I didn't think their goaltending was kind of what really left them hung up to dry there in the finals for them. But also playing Barzell, he played for Seattle. He was, probably the best player I've ever played against. Just the skill and speed that guy has is unreal.
Yeah, lots of talent, and you mentioned goaltending. I mean, in that Mem Cup too, it's pretty apparent why Windsor kind of took it, because I mean that was the infamous Mikey DiPietro year, right? The hometown kid gets it for Windsor. I've heard a lot of stories about that tournament from Mikey. It's I mean, from his perspective, obviously it's some great memories and stories, but yeah, goaltending was a pretty big factor in that Mem Cup for sure.
Yeah.
We've talked about stars and whatnot, but I mean, you've also played with a star too for your time with the Sea Dogs, Thomas Chabot. What was he like in the locker room?
Shabby, it's everyone kind of calls around the room Shabby. I mean, great guy. What you see is what you get. He's a good guy, nice guy, means well, but I mean, he's a hardworking guy. It's hard not to notice. He was always kind of the first guy on the ice, last guy off, putting in the work, taking care of his body off the ice and whatnot. I mean, you could see, some people might have kind of not seen him doing as well as he has, but pretty easy to see playing junior, the work ethic and stuff that this guy had, that he was going to be something special, and turned out to be, and I'm happy for him. Great guy, still stay in contact with him, to now. But he was a good player and a great guy.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, he recently just signed that extension with Ottawa. So I mean, now what's it like getting to kind of be in the same city with a teammate that you've had back in the past? Like,
yeah, no, I mean, it's good. We kind of don't really see each other as much during the season. He's busy and I'm busy and whatnot, but we still stay in touch and see each other here and there. So it's good. Nice guy.
Yeah. Easy to get out and see him play too, which is always nice.
Yeah, exactly. Cheap tickets.
So I mean that your last year with the Sea Dogs there, I mean you racked up 124 for PIMS there, which is I mean not apparent in today's game as much, just with fighting kind of decreasing every year and whatnot. But I mean take us through just that kind of role where it's like, okay, you know what, you're going to be dropping the mitts often, you're going to be playing that kind of rough and just grind kind of style of a game.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, being on a team with that kind of many skilled guys and NHL draft picks and stuff like that, I mean, you're not going to play the top end minutes maybe you'd like, but it was good. I stuck to the third line, kind of shut down, rolled defensively, but like you said, I was also there physically. We also had a pretty tough team for the amount of skill we had. We had a lot of toughness in the team, a couple big guys in the back end, a couple of guys up front who like to fight. And, we had two guys, and Chase Stewart and Bakanji Imam on our team who were, maybe hands down the two toughest guys in the league that year. So it was good to kind of play second fiddle to those guys after they kind of took the big guys off the ice. I'd come behind if I needed to clean up a small guy or two, then it wasn't a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, you're kind of known too as a playoff performer. So I mean, what did you see kind of amplify in those playoffs? Just after like you said, just going like 16-2 in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was kind of my first look at long playoff runs because in midget, it's you've only played 2 series and then you're kind of into Atlantic. So whereas there, we're playing 4 rounds of up to 7 games, but so it's tough. It's a battle. It's grueling, but it's a grind. But I just loved it. I mean, I just think that playoff hockey's the best hockey, and honestly, in my opinion, the best sport to watch in playoffs because I think it's just the fierce competitiveness and the battle between guys is unreal, and just kind of love that. It's my favorite part.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of keep the tradition in junior where guys get to kind of take the cup home and bring the President's Cup around. I mean. Funny enough, Nathan Knoll brought it to St. John's there, and you had your turn with it. What'd you end up doing with your time slot of the cup?
Well, actually, a few of us, there was half the team that kind of didn't end up getting it because once the trophy went to Quebec, it got damaged pretty bad by a couple of the Quebec guys. So by the time they had the other one made and whatnot, it was already kind of into our next seasons, and we never had the chance. But sorry, we had a lot of time with it when we were still in St. John at the end of the season. So good memories with it as well. My family still get to see it and whatnot. So it was nice.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. It's funny. I remember 1 year in the Herder, which is like the senior hockey in Newfoundland. The Caribous won my hometown, and they probably separated themselves by 10 or 20 yards, and they started like pitching the trophy across to each other on the ice. Everybody was like, okay, when's this thing gonna break? But so I mean, one thing I noticed was at Gigi's Athletic Banquet when you were wearing the championship ring there from the Sea Dogs. I mean, it blew my mind with just like honestly how gorgeous it is and like just the amount of professionalism kind of put into that. What's it mean to kind of have a piece of like a momentum like that?
Yeah, no, like you said, like it's a really nice piece. That was kind of my second one. I had my first one with Dieppe, which was also a very nice one. But honestly, to get this one, like the size and the sheer just kind of weight of it was, I kind of wasn't expecting that when they arrived. It was nice. Was lucky to get another one my third year, my 20 year. That was nice for a ring, but just kind of symbolizes what the battle, what it took to really get that ring, not just the ring itself.
Mm-hmm. The like the ring ceremony that the Sea Dogs had too, it seemed like a pretty big event. I mean, you got some photos on your Insta from that day. There's a pretty iconic photo I was looking at. It's pretty legit. It's you, I believe Tara Sloan and Thomas Chabot, and then someone else that I'm forgetting. But
Matthew Joseph,
yeah. So I mean, just describe that Instagram for us there.
Yeah, no, like that was awesome. It was a good experience. It was kind of a big show, big formal event. Handing out the ring. It was also the first year of the Sea Dogs Hall of Fame induction. So a lot of big ex-alumni there. Jonathan Hubert, Zach Phillips, stuff like that. Guys who are still known to as good hockey players and are still producing in big leagues across the world. So it was kind of nice, and especially kind of be on stage with Tara Sloan, like you said, 2 guys that play in the NHL now. It was nice. It was a good experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So I mean, let's kind of go into your time with the Blizzard now. I mean, you go there. You're the captain of that team, and you guys have like a great year. I mean, in terms of point production too, a big year for yourself, and it caps off with the championship. Just from the start of the season, when did you kind of realize that this was going to be a special year?
Yeah, I mean, start of the season a little slow because I was still with St. John for a bit and wasn't sure if I was staying or what I was doing. So I ended up, getting released, going to Edmonton. New place, Northern New Brunswick. I don't know if a lot of people know about Northern New Brunswick. Very French, not very English at all. Kind of different one that I've ever played in before, but it was good. Took it on the chin, went there. Kind of had a good start. We were at the start of the season, put up points early. I think I won top junior player in Canada first month or second month or something like that. So it was good. Ended up leaving for a couple months. I left from November to February to go. I was back in the queue playing in Rwanda. I just made a decision ultimately to come back. I could have stayed in Rwanda, but wanted to come back and win a championship. It was the first year this team was in the league, so it was kind of special to be the first captain and to go there and try to win a championship was really what I wanted to do. So it was good. We kind of had a tougher finish to the regular season. It wasn't as great as we would have hoped, but bounced back playoffs. We were just ready to come right out of the gates and just kind of walked our way through the Maritime League and right to Cornwall for Fred Page Cup again. Or Ottawa, sorry, not Cornwall.
Yeah. It's pretty the photos from that playoff run. You've determined to have a pretty aggressive playoff beard year after year. What goes into the best playoff beards, you think?
Yeah, well, like I said, junior playoff runs are a little longer too, so you get a little bit more time to kind of grow it out and work it through as compared to what we have in university, but it's not as long. So I don't have the beard anymore, but it was kind of fun to have those pictures, to be able to keep them of having a pretty big beard. And I was kind of proud to have that big of a beard at that time.
Mm-hmm. Now, you also kind of backtracking a little bit. World Hockey Championships when U17. You got to represent Team Canada there. Just at the Atlantics. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean that was a lot of fun. We were Team Atlantic. Kind of a lot of guys. We had a couple good guys. Nathan Knoll. There was a couple draft picks, Phil Myers and stuff like that in the team. But we were not the favorites to win it all. The team. This is kind of before they changed the format under 17. But it was good. We went there. Got to play teams from all over the world. Sorry, and as well as all over the country. We started off. We beat Germany. I think we beat Czech Republic too, but I think those might have been our only wins during the tournament. But it was a great experience, especially being in Sydney. My parents got to come down, stay for the week, kind of thing. That was a lot of fun. Great experience.
Yeah, there was a lot of star-studded names in that tournament too. Any guys just kind of come to mind?
Yeah, Noah Hannafin on the U.S. team was, I thought, one of the better players, like kind of better defenseman I ever played against. Austin Matthews was there. He was good. Barzal was there again. Chicker and just a lot of big name guys were there, and they were as good then as they are now kind of thing. So it was good.
Did you, going up against a guy like Austin Matthews, did you kind of realize that, this guy's at next level?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, then there was kind of bigger names the tournament than he was at the time. But I mean, he was still an unbelievable player. Every guy in that U.S. team was, probably 90% of them are NHL draft picks today. So it was nice to kind of say that I got to play against those guys at one time, and good memories looking back.
Yeah, I believe the top scorer of that tournament was Colin White. He put up ridiculous numbers. I think it was something like 18 points in 6 games. It's almost 3 points a game.
Yeah, the U.S. team was unbelievable. I think they beat us 10-2 or something.
Is it a little bit harder to kind of look on or easier to look on those games now? Just a little bit laughable, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, kind of experience going in. We weren't expected to win or anything, so it was kind of looking back. It was good just to take everything in and enjoy the moments and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I want to kind of dive into the East Coast connection here now because I mean, you've actually played with a lot of Newfoundlanders who are very talented. Definitely some of the top guys from this province of recent years. I mean, you played with Nathan Knoll, Andrew Pico, Liam Leonard. I mean, who can forget Cody Drover? But what's it like playing with those guys and just kind of growing up alongside them?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of other guys too when I was younger. But like I said, I've never played with a bad guy from Newfoundland, and I know the tradition continues. Sometimes Drover can be a little questionable, but no, I love all the guys that play with Newfoundland. Really, really planning on getting over there someday and visiting some guys and seeing the Rock. Really in the bucket list.
You haven't been here yet?
Nope, not yet.
Oh, you'll be in for a treat. We'll have me and Drover will have to screech you in.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, let's just kind of go into I guess, University of Ottawa and your commitment there. I mean, it's definitely I would say almost a little bit obvious of why you selected U Ottawa. I mean, you look down through the roster. There's so many East Coast connections there, and a lot of guys who you're familiar with. But I'll let you kind of describe your recruiting process and why it was the GGs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I never even thought about going to school in Ontario before kind of coming to Ottawa for the Fred Page Cup and talking to Pat. That was the first time I met Pat and talked to Pat. And to be honest, I really fell in love with the city. I love that time here. Um, Actually, Mike Poirier and Kevin Deming, took me for a tour when I was here. I got to check out FNS right off the bat, which is good. A little tour around the rink, the school and stuff, and I really just kind of loved it. Loved the atmosphere. I thought the city was just so clean for being a big city, but maybe that's just me coming from a small town. But really loved it. I kind of still didn't think I would come here. Still, I was planning on staying out east, going to one of the big schools out east. But, still talking with Pat and whatnot in the end and talking to the guys here. And I just thought, it's a better spot, better fit for me. I also played my entire career in the East Coast. So kind of wanted to branch out and maybe check out the central part of Canada here. So, but, best decision I made in coming to Ottawa, and I stick with that and, loving my time here.
Yeah. What's your go-to FNS order?
If I'm breakfast guy. I've been loving I love just the special, a little breakfast poutine though. Breakfast pizza's been making its way up the list.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I love the garlic fingers there. Kind of brings back that East Coast side of it.
Yeah, and I mean, a big debate in U Sport hockey, though, is like you mentioned, kind of because you were looking at one of the bigger schools. You were looking at the bigger schools out east in the AUS. I mean, as a player from out east, kind of playing in the OUA, I mean, how's that dynamic work? And what's your overall opinion on that situation?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I never really realized or kind of clued into how big AUS hockey really is and how respected the hockey is in the East Coast. But I mean, coming to Ottawa, coming to Ontario, like you said, there's some good teams here, some very well respected programs, and like you said, us here, the GGs, like now we're nationally recognized program, and it's only going up from here. I mean, we're in the top 10, top 5, I think schools in the country for programs now at this point. Like Pat's done an unbelievable job kind of putting this program together, and really can compete with top end teams coming out from out east.
You've mentioned Pat a lot there. So I mean, what's it like just being coached by him?
Pat's we actually had the same coach. My coach when I played in St. John was Danny Flynn. Pat had him at St. FX as well. And I kind of grew up with Danny Flynn. I've skated with him in ice times, been coached by him for 10 plus years now. Great guy, great coach, probably one of my favorite coaches of all time. But I actually see a lot of him in Pat, and I think that's kind of another big factor in what drew me here to Ottawa was the way Danny Flynn talked about Pat, the way Pat talked about Danny Flynn. I just really thought both, very smart hockey minds, both of them. Like you said, I see a lot of similarities in Pat that I see in Danny Flynn, but also some stuff that, Danny Flynn doesn't bring to offer that Pat does, which is, why he's so successful, I think, and why he's great at bringing guys together and, creating these teams that have been so successful with only a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, for you now, 2 seasons into it, just kind of reflect on the last 2 years.
Like you said, it was great last 2 years here at U Ottawa. Wouldn't change it for the world. Met a lot of great people, a lot of memories, a lot of stuff. It took me a little bit getting used to the school part and the hockey part and whatever, but kind of coming into end of year 2, I think I've got it down pat now and down a pretty good system. So it's good. It's been a lot of fun. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, and I mean, you ended up kind of getting in big time with just this playoff run. I mean, a lot of big goals and a lot of big moments for yourself that kind of helped put the team into the position of where it was, in the Queen's Cup final, and then also, getting a spot at Nationals for the first time since the rebirth. What is it with playoffs and you? I mean, I know we've touched on it a little bit, but I mean, where it just kind of seems whatever league, whatever the moment, for some reason, you're the guy who's either putting the puck in the net or you're giving it to the guy who puts it in the net.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also like kind of the mindset, like, this could be our last game, so why not just leave it all out there? I think that's kind of how I think during playoffs. It's, do or die, really empty the tank, kind of bring everything out of the table. But yeah, playoffs a whole nother beast, and that's what I love. So I love it's my favorite part of the game.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, the one thing now too is your Pims have taken a big hit since being in the U Sport League, because I mean, obviously it's much more discipline and there's not as much fighting. But I mean, you had to fight in the preseason there over in Europe, and I mean, it's kind of funny when you look back at the numbers. I mean, you were 22 going up against a 38-year-old. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's kind of just in the moment thing. It wasn't something I was planning on doing going over there, but I'm not gonna lie, guys, we're kind of talking going over because we knew that if guys wanted to get a fight in or something this year, that in Germany was probably the place to do it. No really suspension or anything like that. But no, just kind of something that happened over there. Wasn't planning on fighting, but it was a good experience. Kind of came up, I'd say, on the winning end of that one, which is nice. Especially in a crowd that we kind of had in Germany like that. It was a great experience and a great memory for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, hey, so great photos for me, because I mean, I don't get to photograph fights too often, so I mean, I'll take that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, no, so I mean, that's one thing that I think a few people might get confused on is just like why why in a league where during the regular season, fighting, there's such a kind of hefty kind of suspension and discipline for it, but in the preseason, especially against a pro team over in Germany, it's more or less just your regular kind of 5 minute
Yeah,
major there.
yeah, no, it's true. Like, I mean, kind of, no one's really worried about missing preseason games if you do end up missing one or whatnot. But no one wants to miss kind of regular season game, especially in the short seasons that we play here. So it's kind of why fighting's not really, you don't see it much in the university. But you know, it's nice. It's kind of still there, I guess, if ever a guy really needs to and kind of takes the penalty for it. But
Hmm. So I mean, now like this is going to be a big year for the GGs, just because you're losing. I mean, up to like 17 graduating players. What are your expectations for the year?
I mean, kind of like I say, no one really knows for sure, but our recruiting class is top notch. I think kind of one of the best ones in the country, in my opinion, just from looking at these guys and the stuff they've done in their previous time, and just hearing stuff from guys that I know that have played with them, and hearing that they're good guys, and bring character guys in, which I think it's a big thing that Pat and Sully are trying to do, is bring character guys in, which I think it's a great idea. Um, if you don't have a good team atmosphere in the room, that's tough to win for sure. So I
Hmm.
think we're poised to have a good year, and I'm excited.
Any guys you're really looking forward to getting to know?
Said I don't really know much of these guys, and I played against quite a few of them throughout, in the queue. I can't say I remember too many of them or whatnot, but like I said, I'm just looking forward to meeting all the guys, and should be fun.
Yeah. What are your expectations personally? Like, I mean, obviously you're going to be a guy in that locker room who's been there for 3 seasons, a little bit more of a back to kind of like a front leader kind of style, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. Said it's a big year for me. I don't really know, I guess, what's in store for me after this season. Still not really sure what I'm doing, what my plans are. So, I'm looking at a big year, produce offensively, but still be kind of solid defensively the way I am, and kind of be a leader both on and off the ice. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I'm excited.
Hmm. So now it's funny. I think a lot of people might not know this, but you kind of dabbled in the modeling industry, for Gong Show for a little bit there.
Yeah,
Just how'd that happen, and what was that all like?
yeah, no, it was actually through our captain, Quinn O'Brien. He's got a contact he knows at Gong Show, and they were looking for a few models. So a few of us on the team kind of volunteered. Got some free merchandise out of it and whatnot. So it was kind of a fun experience. Kind of get razzed by a few of the guys and some family back home when they see my ugly mug on their Instagram page or something for an ad. So it's kind of cool to see that once in a while. Never thought that I'd be doing something like that in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, I honestly didn't even realize, and then I was just kind of flicking down through, and I came across that photo. I was like, oh, that's too good. I'm gonna have to bring that
Yeah.
one up.
Uh,
But yeah, so you mentioned at the beginning the landscaping business. Yeah, just with Nukes there. What's all that about?
yeah, I mean, like we had jobs kind of lined up to kind of fulfill this summer, but as you can see, the world's kind of a different place right now, and no jobs aren't there anymore. So we are kind of thinking what we got to do to not only stay busy, but make some money during the summer and help out as much as we can. So we kind of thought landscaping was a good job. I have quite a few years experience. Nuke, same thing. So kind of just getting the start of the business going now, and kind of be hoping up and running by next week's our goal right now. Yeah, we're excited. Give us something to do. Kind of give us a good resume builder as well. See how we can see if we could float or sink.
Hmm. No, I mean, best of luck with it. Honestly, yeah, it's in times like this, you kind of got to do what you got to do. But yeah, no, Kyle, that's basically everything I got for you, man. This is typically the part of the podcast where I just kind of hand it over to you. So, I mean, the platform's yours, the show is yours. You can kind of share a life lesson, tell a childhood story, whatever you kind of want to do, want to chat about. Yeah, it's all up to you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think nothing really. I think thanks a lot, girls, for having me on. This is great. Everyone else out there, if you're not a GG, I recommend becoming one. GG family is a great family. It's a big family. It's a loving family. Um, Coming to you, Ottawa, is my best decision, hands down. Met a lot of great people like yourself, girls. Been a great guy,
Appreciate it.
especially the stuff that you do for the team, your social media work and stuff like that. It's unbelievable and just top notch. Um, yeah, other than that, to all the GGs out there, stay safe this summer and hope to see you all again in September.
Perfect. Sounds good, man. All right, take care.
All right. Thanks, girls.
No problem.